New video tonight shows a shootout unfolding at a gas station in southwest Atlanta. It's one of at least 3 shootings Atlanta police say they responded to on Saturday. One claimed the life of a 17-year-old boy. 11 Live's Galat Malamed has more on what led to the shootings.
Police say 2 of the shootings started as arguments, and tonight new surveillance shows one of those incidents playing out in a gas station parking lot. Cameras capture a shocking exchange. 2 men shooting at each other Saturday outside the Valero gas station on Campbellton Road. Bullets then bursting through the window of a truck. Police say 1 man was hit and taken to the hospital. The moments just before shooting caught on camera too. You can see 2 men shoving each other. It appears the man in the red jacket is trying to keep the second man away from the driver inside the silver truck. Then you can see the driver of the silver truck gets out with a gun, pointing it at them as another car pulls up.
And this is why the property values in your neighborhoods are shit. There's not one race or demographic in the United States that would voluntarily live around Black people. Nobody wants to live in a Black community. Why? Well, it's because regardless of what their mouths say, their actions show. As a culture, as a community, they value life differently than normal Americans or just the average human. Right now, you're looking at a gun battle in broad daylight with zero regard for public safety. They don't care if there's children around walking home from school, if there are senior citizens, if there's old people, or if there's just innocent other young people in the vicinity pumping gas. Nobody cares because they value life differently. And by differently, I mean they don't value life at all. There's no fear of death. There's no fear of police. There's no fear of prison. There's no fear of judges anymore. The judges now are so liberal and radicalized, they refuse to even punish Black criminals. So there is no consequence. There's nothing. These men are out here having shootouts. Do you think they're worried about going to prison forever? No, because they can claim the judge was racist, the laws were racist, they can claim the gas station was racist, and even the surveillance footage. Oh, you're spying on us. That's a sign of racism. So with all those excuses being injected into the legal system, when it comes to law enforcement versus the Black community, there can be no law enforcement for the Black community. Different police jurisdictions around the country are reporting that they have new orders. Their new orders are to only pull over and arrest white criminals or they'll lose their jobs. Because if they arrest someone that's Black, even if you're in a shootout, even if you're obviously guilty by just arresting a Black person, somebody could file a complaint against you. And depending on how liberal the jurisdiction you work in is, they will fire you and take your job. And if somebody's hurt, even if you hurt someone who's harming someone else, they'll take your badge and they could prosecute you. But only if you're Black. But only if the criminal's Black. It's fair game if the person is white or as close to white as possible. But they have to deal with Black people with kid gloves now. So that means that one of the most hyper-violent demographics in the country just had their reins removed and they can just freely do whatever they want. The only solution, since you can't really profile and you can't say, I don't want these people living around me, is you have to uproot your entire family and move as far away from them as possible. They typically reside in urban areas of the cities, which unfortunately is prime real estate most of the time. All these urban areas are close to the airports, close to downtown, close to where everyone wants to be. But we have to abandon prime real estate, the best areas, just because that's where the worst demographic to live around chooses to habitate. And it's really hard to get them to move. There's really nothing you can do. This is a shame. You know, this is in one of our great American cities. And I have a lot of friends that live in Atlanta, and they always ask me why I never come visit. Well, it's because you guys are animals, gay animals. Imagine I'm walking into Lenox Mall and some thug pulls a gun out of his purse and starts shooting. There's so many weird variables in this area. I just don't even visit. It makes no sense. I spend a lot of my time and financial resources so I can afford to not live anywhere near this element. But can you blame anybody for not wanting to live around this? We have shit to do. We have jobs, we have businesses, we have children, we have families. We can't afford to get shot randomly and be in the hospital or be off of work or not be able to perform. We don't have that luxury. You guys don't work. We found out 2 months ago, everyone lives off of SNAP, EBT, Section 8. You don't have to work. So you can afford to have shootouts in the middle of the day. I have shit to do. I don't have the luxury of just having random shootouts at 2 p.m. I wish I did. Maybe if I had more free time, I'd just be out here just, having shootouts at fucking Valero gas stations and random McDonald's drive-thrus. But unfortunately, I have to work. But that's what happens. You know what they say? Idle hands are the devil's workshop. You enable people by giving them free food, free housing, and you blame it on the way they were born. You treat their skin color as a mental disorder. Ketanji Brown Jackson, the auto pen justice, she said that. Well, being born black is a disability. She sees the face that she sees when she looks in the mirror. She sees it as a handicap. So they think you should get free money. But what does that do? That enables people because they don't have any responsibility. They don't have anything to do. So they have this luxury. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. You mean all these men, none of them have work at this time of day? Why? Are they all billionaires? Are they all rich? Let me guess. They're entrepreneurs. They sell Jordans. They got their own clothing lines. And they just have shootouts in gas stations like they're moonlighting. Make it make sense.
Just seconds later, the driver of the silver truck starts shooting and someone else fires back. Police expect suspects in both groups to be charged. Just 6 miles away at Westridge Shopping Center on Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, a separate shooting claimed the life of a 17-year-old boy.
To be honest with you, I don't like Martin Luther King Jr. I never have because I understand he's a trash person and his policies and the stuff he advocated for destroyed the black community. And you can see the results. How long has he been dead? And the results are just as prevalent as they were 50, 60 years ago. He was probably the worst net positive for the black community in the history. I'm talking about he was worse for black people than slavery because at least black people were gainfully employed and they were married during slavery. After Martin Luther King, both of those things have been in the gutter ever since. And then open air genocide that we all have to watch on the news every single day. So I can understand why black people disrespect Martin Luther King's legacy because he was trash and they don't like him either. So whenever they see Martin Luther King's name on a street sign, they start shooting. I get it.
He was shopping in the complex here, and there was some kind of escalating disputes. We're very thankful to that as far as, no other victims of this crime, and especially with given the holidays and it being the shopping weekend, but I'm very thankful for that. However, just unfortunate that another individual has to lose his life to some gunfire.
Homicide investigators now working to learn more about what happened.
Thankfully, we have some good camera footage here, so we're working on all angles right now.
We're told those two shootings are connected. Atlanta police would not confirm that. They are also investigating a third shooting that happened in the city on Saturday on Lucille Avenue, where one man was shot. They're asking anyone with information to contact them. In Atlanta, Gilad Malamed, 11 Alive News.
It's just more proof. American culture and black culture cannot coexist. One promotes life, one extinguishes life. There's no way we can coexist. And unfortunately, black culture unfortunately has surpassed American culture. That's why you see less marriage, less children, less families, less love, more violence, more anger, more hate, less patriotism. That's all spreading, have you ever met someone that was black? Have you ever heard what they say about your country, about your president? They spend all their time trying to convince you to be disgruntled with them. I describe dealing with black people in the United States. It's kind of like if you have a job, but there's that one person at your job that walks up to you in the break room and they're like, don't you hate it here? This is a horrible place. Like there is such mismanaged. It's not random. And they're just literally sowing discomfort in your ear, and they're tearing down the company that you guys are volunteering to work for, because you could quit and go work somewhere else. Just like you could just go fly to another country. You don't have to live in the United States, but they sow discontent and they spread it amongst you. They with the whispers, and everything is just so negative. They want you to be angry and disgruntled. Like, don't you hate it here too, right? Right? You don't like it here. This is a dump, and they're trying to convince you. And it works now because they start conditioning these kids of different races younger and younger. That's why they promote black culture everywhere. I remember back when they wanted to ban hip hop, and they would put, explicit on the records, hoping that would deter parents from allowing their children to purchase. But hindsight is 2020. It turns out those people that they were calling racist white men 30 years ago were 200,000% correct about the culture, about the people, and about the harm it would eventually do to the American public and society. But then when you understand that what that community intends for our society, that's what they want. They hate it here. They want you to hate it here, and they want to watch this place burn, even if they're in it. We really do need to do away with birthright citizenship so people can be repatriated to other countries after they are having shootouts in gas stations. We don't want them here. They don't want to work anyway. This is the worst country in the world for you. Canada is better. Ghana is better. They don't have laws in these places. You can do whatever you want. But why go to jail over here and spend all your years in prison when you can escape and we can send you to another place where you can be free to kill and shoot and rob anybody you want? And you don't have to worry about consequences. I'm hoping that when we get rid of this birthright citizenship, we can really make some progress. Well, look, I'll be back on live in a few minutes. Share the video. Let me know your thoughts, whether you agree or disagree. But it's really hard to disagree with me about this. Well, just remember, America first and America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.